Hi, I'm Gary Jenkins, and welcome to the Beauty of Oil Painting. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to paint a little sparrow on a branch, but that's not the important part of the painting. The important part is really going to be the abstract background. Whoa, look at him there. Now there's our little sparrow, but look at the background and the way it kind of angles off to give some energy to the painting. And there's not too much happening in the background, which keeps the focus on the bird. Now today I'm going to do something a little different, because on this series I have an awful lot of abstract backgrounds that are done in acrylic, and I wanted to take some time today to show you how that's done. So I've got a palette full of acrylic down here, just some earthy tones, some brushes, and what I'm going to do is come up on the canvas. I have an old squirt bottle here, and I'm going to squirt the canvas, get it nice and wet. And then we're going to take our nice large bristle brush here, and let's dip into some, oh, that's black, and some green. And we're going to get this paint up in here. Now, maybe it's not dark enough, maybe some umber, maybe some sienna and black. Nice earthy tones. Get it on, get it on. Notice the angle that I'm putting it on. I want to get much darker with this. There. Now, what I'm going to do is take my squirt gun. I'm going to turn this to the side and squirt it. Look at it go. Is this fun or what? Now you see all these little things coming out? When we get ready to do our painting, it will look like little branches. Yeah. Was that hard? Oh my God. You know, that really turned out actually better than the one that I'm looking at that I first showed you, because it got a whole lot of neat stuff on the bottom. Let's hit it again. Look at it run. Now remember, hold it at an angle and let it run. Okay. Now let's take a look at that. Notice how beautiful the white is against the color. This painting is called On a Windy Day. Now that went in a lot faster than I thought it would be. We can go in, oh I forgot, before I forget, and put in a branch coming down just to kind of indicate. Now it's so wet up here that the branches will probably mush out, but you can always put more branches in with oil. Now here's a branch coming out. Let's take a look at that branch coming out. Now if I want that branch to fuzz more, I'll just hit it with my water bottle. Watch. Boop, boop. Not too much. And let it run. Now look, it looks like there's that stuff that in Florida that grows. That's moss, yeah. Oh, but the moss just went bye-bye. Well, we enjoyed the moss for a while, but maybe we can put it back in again. See? Yeah, now look at that. Liner brush, let's hit it again. See what it does. Not too much. Look at it run, yes! Yes! This is just too much fun. Anyway, I wanted to show you guys how to do this. You can even throw some, look at the leaves going in. Look. You see? Remember, it's very wet in the background. So these leaves will probably mush out into nothing. They'll get very soft. You can experiment. This gets your imagination working. So right in here, maybe we would come up using my little liner brush. Right in here, after it dried, you would put your pattern on the canvas and your little birdie would sit right in there. Simple. But by doing this, each time you do it, it would turn out different. But I really love doing these backgrounds. It gets your imagination going. If you stand in front of a painting, you go, oh, I want to get my imagination going. How do I do it? This is the way to do it, guys. And remember, we can always bring more detail out with oil. Look at this. Look at this. Don't you love it? And you could put whatever kind of birds you want in here. It could be the little wren that I'm going to do. It could be anything. Now, there could be more leaves up in here and stuff, but I want to get on with the birdie. So what I'll do, oh, if you want to stop your painting from running, lay it down flat, and then the paint will settle. Because if you leave it sitting up, you might end up with nothing on there at all. So you lay it down flat. Sometimes I'll lay it down flat and let it dry, and then I'll go back in with the acrylic again and build it up until I get layers on top of layers, until you end up with this. Yes. Now look at this one. I did it the same way, but it comes out different each time. Right in here, I have, and you might not see it, but there's a little pattern on there of my little birdie. So you guys go out and photograph birdies or find them in a book or whatever and get your pattern on, and you're ready to go. Now I'm going to change palettes. Remember, I used acrylics underneath. Now this painting that I have up here, the background is dry. Yes. And I have a pattern. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of my medium, not on the birdie, but I'm just going to wipe around the bird. And what this will do, you have to look at it at an angle to make sure it's covering. And this will help my paint spread for me. Okay, now we're going to take our little pointed sable brush. It must be sable. The little brush. I'm using oil. I have a little dot for his eye, and we're going to come in and take some burnt sienna. Let's try it just straight, see what that does. Remember, this is dry except for some little that oil. And I'm going to come in. And this is ultra smooth canvas. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see all this wonderful detail. I use medium off to the side. I have it. And we're going to take some burnt sienna. Oh, there he is. I put my glasses on and everything's clear now. And rest your hand on the canvas. Now I work from dark to light. And we'll get that in there. And we'll put the dark in. It's almost like, you know why I like oils? Because we have the best of both worlds. We can thin it down with medium and make it work just like a watercolor. Or we can use our paint thicker and get more of an oil painting feel. So that's why I like working. I can glaze with oil, I can do everything with oil. But I guess it's all what you're used to using. Let's take some of that sienna, put a little touch of umber to darken it up. Rest your hand on the canvas. I kind of scrub it in. I'm staying out of the areas that are super light. We'll indicate where his little wing is. And he also has a little more umber and sienna and medium. A little tail that sticks out here. Kind of comes to a point. Many times I sit in my backyard with a cup of coffee, and we have these little birdies running around the backyard. And at this time of year, they're really building their nest. And they're gathering up twigs and everything. It's cute to watch them. Now we're going to clean the brush. We'll take a little white, touch of orange, white, touch of orange, and come in here. Oh yeah, look. Now you notice how I lay it's a pointed sable, but I lay the brush down flat. Coming on over. Stay in your lines, don't get out. Now you can see, now our job is to blend that together. Now I have paper towels, I wipe on the towel all the time. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The brush stays on the canvas. And there it goes. Blend, blend, blend. Look at it. And then maybe just indicate some feathers down here. Oh yeah, oh yes, look at that work. Look at. Up around the face, the same color, orange and a touch of white. And remember, good painting is simple painting. It's not complicated. It's not getting an awful lot of subject matter in there. throwing everything in there. The old masters, when they did their paintings in the 16th, 1700s, they got paid by the amount of stuff. They would put butterflies, dragonflies, beetles, whatever they could find, they put in their paintings. And they got paid very well. But they got paid by the princes and the kings. The poor peasants, they couldn't afford to buy those paintings. They were just flat too expensive. So only the rich got to enjoy all that good stuff. Look at that guy. Let's put a little highlight in his eye, bring a little personality. Whoop. Just a dot. Can you see that? Dot. Okay. Then underneath his eye, we have a little sienna and umber. And I see a little stuff happening. Now, you guys have more time at home than I do. So take your time and do a good job. Little more in here. Look at the detail. Nobody spends enough time with the detail. Let's take some orange. And there's a little light highlight back here. Reflected light that's coming in from behind. Also a little dot on this tail there. Okay. I see some white with our orange, and we're going to put a little bit of a design. He has a little bit of a wing showing. A little design on it. Not much. Most of the birdie is just indicated. And as soon as that white sets up a little bit, we'll be able to get in there and get a lot more detail in there. But right now, it's a little too wet. We're going to take our umber. We're going to spend a lot of time on this guy because he is the center of interest. Get a little color up here on the old beak. There's not too much happening on the beak. You see there's a little dark running between the top and the lower to give us a separation between the top and the lower beak. White again. Sometimes you'll just tap, tap. Tap, tap. See it? Tap, tap. And again, you might let your paint set up. Yeah. To get the whites going. Now, the last thing you do is the first thing people see. So, towards the end, putting on your highlights, you want to pile them on a little thicker. I see a little kind of feather work coming out of here. You see how important, you see that? How important that little bit of detail is? How are we doing? Looks pretty good. I'm going to get in there and tap that in a little bit more. Okay, now the poor guy, he needs some little feet. Well, maybe we'll put the branch in first and then put his little feet on. We'll come down and pick up some umber and some black. Maybe a little touch of our medium over here, umber and black. And this branch is starting someplace up here and coming on down. Come on down. Remember, I have a little oil on there that's helping everything to move. And we'll take a little brush and hook onto that in a minute. This branch just disappears into nothing. Then we'll take some umber, a touch of black, and we'll have his little feet coming down and kind of going around. And maybe we'll work around the branch, and we'll work that branch in there. He also, I see, there's another foot coming out here. Otherwise, we'd have him just hanging around on one leg. And we'll get that in there. Cool. Let's get a little more of that umber. Always stand back. Look at your painting. It's hard to see everything up close. But in order to get his tummy to look a little rounder, we need it a little more dark. And I'll take a little orange. Let's take a nice transition between the dark and the light. And notice I'm just hitting it on the downstroke. Because if you hit it on just the downstroke, you'll get more of a feeling of feathers in there. I'm bringing some of that, this is actually called the middle tone, up into the light area, adding a little bit of detail. Cool. Now, let's come down to the palette. We are cooking. We have liftoff. Let's take, this is our little round twiggy brush or liner brush. And we're going to put some burnt sienna and a little umber and use this brush very wet. And we're going to come in here and watch it happen, guys. And down it comes. Now here's something that I'm doing you don't see me do when you're putting these branches in. I'll put another one in. Don't get wormy. Now watch how I'll come at an angle this way, this way, this way, this way. This adds strength to your little twigs that are hanging down from the main branch. Sometimes you can get a little curvy, but don't get too curvy, otherwise it'll weaken up these little twigs. Look at it, look at it, look at it. You see? You see how this blank area is balancing out the little birdie up here? Mm-hmm. There. And we have this. Don't skimp on these little branches because it's very important. Of course, our focal point in this painting is our birdie. But I love this painting for the simplicity. I'll be doing some other little birdies, a little swan on a lake that's done the same way. And you'll see how wonderful these paintings are, just kept simple. Let's put get our little pointed brush, burnt umber, and let's put, now watch this. You put your brush down, you wiggle and come to a point, and there's a leaf. Down, wiggle, come to a point. There's another leaf. Down, wiggle, and there's another leaf. You see how it happens? And some of them can be rather small, too. Now remember, I have that oil on the background, so it's making my stroke really flow nicely. We want to repeat some of the color from the birdie down into these leaves. We'll take some orange, maybe a little touch of that deep burgundy. And we're going to come up here to these little leaves and put a little color in here. Oh, right on top of that little dark one. You see how it repeats? We call this echoing. We echo the color from the birdie down to the leaves. Yeah, good stuff. Over here. Mm-hmm. Now, how many leaves you put in, that's up to you, but don't overload it or we will get nutty. And remember, the pattern for this will be in the book. Because I know a lot of you guys are thinking, how am I going to get that bird on? Yeah, we're going to come in here. This is our blue and a touch of white, blue and a touch of white. Let's add some texture to this branch. And again, it's the little stuff. Notice how I just hit it? Mm-hmm. No, don't just take a big knife and full of paint, run it through there and say, oh, well, there it is. It doesn't get it, guys. So let's do some neat stuff. Let's do some stuff that you can be proud of. Let's do some gallery stuff. Mm-hmm. There's so many paintings out there that they're more interested in getting these little tricks and things and getting the painting done, that the quality is gone. They sacrifice the quality just to make it look easy. And if you want to spend your time, your money, your energy doing something that anybody can do, well, that's up to you, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather have a challenge. And this abstract stuff, these abstract backgrounds, are a wonderful way to get your imagination started. And I just stumbled on this, about a year ago. I was trying to get paintings done to do television, do a series for you. And I was thinking, well, what can I do in the short period of time that I have up here to make the paintings interesting and not just paint down to you. I want to paint up. I want you to watch my shows and say, yes, yes, I want to learn to do that stuff, and pull you up into another plateau, another area way up here where it's fun. Remember, it's like climbing a mountain. The farther up you climb up that mountain, or the higher up you climb, the farther out you can see. So let's climb that mountain. Let's get way up there into this quality work. And remember, there's no free lunch. It does take practice. I'm not going to stand up here and say, oh yeah, it's so easy, anybody can do it. If anybody can do it, why do it? I see some styles of painting that's so simple, landscapes, whatever. They're so simple, anybody can do them. Well, is that what you want to do? Stuff that everybody can do? I don't think so. Oh, look at this right here. You see the fork? We don't want a fork. So let's, oh, it's in my hand. I'm looking for my brush, and it's in my hand. Whew. That's one sign that you're growing old. Yes. Half the time I look for my glasses, and they're up on my head. Or I walk into a room, and I go, why did I walk in here? Yeah. Now we're going to extend this out. Yeah. Then I walk away, because I couldn't remember why I walked in the room. And then when I walk away, I go, wait a minute. I know what I wanted. And I walk in the room. And then I forget again, well, why did I walk in the room? So it goes back and forth, back and forth. I spend the whole day doing that. It's frustrating. My wife, Catherine, yells at me. Why are you walking back and forth? Well, I don't know. I couldn't remember. Look at this stuff. I like that little red over there. Let's take that little bit of red, orange, deep burgundy, and we're going to come up and put a little of that up here. We want to keep it simple. Don't want to garbage it up. Yeah, here. I want you guys to try this stuff. Get your acrylics out and do the wonderful back. Your background doesn't have to look like mine. I don't even want it to. And I don't even want you to paint exactly like me. I want you to paint like you. Take what I have to give you and take what you have to give to your painting experience. Put it all together. It's like a big stew. And you'll come out with something that's truly yours and wonderful. Let's go back up to the birdie, because I think he's had a chance to set up. Now, remember this angle that I showed you? The angle? The angle adds energy to your painting. Energy. If you were to put this in straight, it would be static. There'd be no movement to it whatsoever. But as soon as you angle it and let it run down, and you have your spray bottle doing that acrylic stuff, psh, 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 psh. I'm not spraying now, or my birdie would fly away. Ooh. Little things are happening back in here. Let me see my painting that I had done for you at the beginning of the show. It's way over here. Most of it is run off by now. But if you don't lay your painting down flat, it will probably all disappear on you. But you look at that thing. If that doesn't look oriental to me, I don't know what does. Now that is so cool. I love that. Just the simplicity of it. I could see just few little kind of oriental flowers, just a few flowers hanging down. Maybe some beautiful reds, Chinese reds and oranges in there. Maybe a little butterfly sitting up there. You see how this stuff gets your imagination going? Give this stuff a shot, because you deserve it. Let's take a look at the finished painting I have over here. And look at all that neat stuff. Remember, let your painting dry. when you're doing the background, and then go back in and go back over it again so that your colors will get nice and rich and deep. Look at, and don't go over it with a fan brush. Otherwise, all this good stuff will go bye-bye. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the show. This was kind of crazy and nutty. And don't forget out there, you know, let's stop and sit in the backyard and let's just watch the birds for a while. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Het derde boek van Gary Jenkins is uit, boordevol prachtige bloemen en rozen. Nieuw in deze uitgave zijn de exotische vogels en vissen. U heeft deze derde editie al in huis voor slechts €34,50. Of bestel de prachtige Jenkins DVD voor dezelfde prijs. Bestel snel en maak uw serie Jenkins boeken compleet. Kijk voor bestelinformatie op omroepmax.nl of op teletextpagina 330.